Natural scientists used to teach that you could cure illness by bloodletting. They thought, against the Bible I might add, that bad blood causes illnesses. Our first president, George Washington, was killed by this wrong natural science belief. So how did the doctors, based upon their current natural science understanding and knowledge, kill our president? They used a medical phlegm to cut veins in the arm and to remove blood. Washington was out in the snow one night cutting down trees. He came back in and Martha, his wife, had dinner waiting for him on the table. He was soaked and cold, but because he didn't want to offend Martha, he sat down and ate supper in his wet clothes. He caught a cold and the doctors were summoned. Here's an account of what the doctors did based on their current understanding of natural science. The average human body has 112 ounces of blood. The doctor started by removing about 13 ounces of blood. There was no improvement. Symptoms were getting worse. So they removed another 32 ounces of blood. They removed almost half of Washington's blood. Sound good so far? Symptoms were now getting worse and the doctors were getting more desperate. So they gave him an insecticide containing mercury as a laxative. Symptoms were now really getting worse, so the doctors gave him a poison that kills parasites to make him throw up. With almost half his blood gone and leaking out of both ends, Washington was very, very pale and having trouble breathing. So the doctors applied a blister pack to his throat, which would expand his trachea, they thought, to make it easier to breathe. Is there any wonder why George Washington died? His worst enemies could not have devised a more cruel punishment for him. Throughout this whole ordeal, sitting by his bedside was the family Bible that he read religiously. If the doctors would have read in Leviticus that the life of the flesh is in the blood, maybe Washington would have lived longer. Today, natural science is finally catching up to the Bible, and that we know that the blood is extremely complicated and well designed for our health.